4 days to go, and Giants is not done pumping out information about Farming Simulator 25. It's got me worried. Will we have posts all weekend? Gosh, I hope not, because it's damn hard to keep up with blog posts and trying to dive into FS25. But oh, such is life. You climb the mountain, only find out there's another one on the other side. Carry on, wayward son, to Hutan Pantai. In the blog post, Giants references Hutan Pantai as being a place of harmony where East Asia countryside meets a modern, vibrant cities. I wish I could tell you what I think about it, but it's not quite time. Ugh. We won't be diving in as deep as I did with Riverbend Springs several weeks ago, mostly because there isn't enough time for that at this point. What we will be doing though is looking through the screenshots and interleaving what we learned from the blog post with our own thoughts on the images based on my limited gameplay at the FS25 preview event last month. Hutan Pantai was created fully in-house at Giant Software by a team of environmental artists, as project lead Horia Serban describes his team. Horia is an associate producer in the environmental department with Giant Software and has been a part of Farming Simulator team for 8 years, going back to the late development of FS17. We're almost kindred spirits, him and I. 2016 is when I started my Farm Sim journey, also just after release of Farm Sim 17. Though I think he's a bit more skilled. Before working with Giants, he's already been working in the gaming industry for 12 years on various titles. You may have heard of some, like Call of Duty franchise, to name one. The blog post names a few more, but that's not here nor there to read the blog post to you. Nope, we're going to move on. The goal of Hutan Pantai team was to develop a map that has an authentic East Asian atmosphere, one that had a bit of yin with its yang, so to speak, a balance between rural country landscapes and a vibrant, modern, busy cityscape. To that end, some key design elements were selected like elevated highways and suspended train bridges. This is where rural landscape could be mostly maintained while at the same time feeding into the urban jungle at the water's edge. Horia mentions that their goal was to present a world that feels both familiar and rich with the unique cultural blends of East Asia, and I have to say, from these images and my time on the map last month, I have to agree. The infrastructure that rises above the fields seemingly complements the landscape, then taking away from it like non-elevated roadways and train lines would. East Asia has a rich history and culture, and Giants points out not represent this in the map would have been a gross oversight in their minds. As such, the traditional village and temple area was born. Preserving the rich cultural history of the area, the players can visit the village and help build the temple area as a modern monument to the rich history of the region. It was rather interesting reading about the sources of inspiration for the map, and I'll dig up a link or two to the From Up on Poppy Hill reference and put that in the description. The city area, inspired by cities like Seoul and Tokyo, and the temple area from various K-dramas. And if you're an uncultured heathen like myself, you wouldn't know that K-dramas are Korean dramas produced in South Korea. The more you know. For the rest of the map and its agricultural landscapes, inspiration was obtained by digging into modern and traditional farming practices in the region with the goal of once again providing a balanced blend referencing the agricultural roots of the region with the evolving modern farming practices. Through these diverse inspirations comes a diverse world of its own in Hutan Pantai. Now, the real work begins by putting pen to paper, so to speak, but in game world development, that equates out to what is referenced as gray boxing. This is the practice of creating basic 3D structures and putting them into an environment to give you a sense of scale and positioning. As the map is further developed and assets are then put into the map to replace their gray box counterparts. The map did provide some unique challenges though, as the blog post describes. One of them is with respect to the city. There was a desire for a dense cityscape representing, again, areas like Seoul and Tokyo, yet at the same time having the reality that this map needed to perform well on consoles and PCs alike. Will we be able to pick up on what was done to facilitate this? For example, in the few screenshots we see of the city in today's blog post and the previous trailer, it seems to be a place void of people. Now, it's possible pedestrians weren't added at the time, or it could be one of those trade-offs that had to be made in order to accomplish the goal of having a complex, dense city that also performed well for all players. Another major challenge from the blog post was incorporating the interconnecting infrastructure from the rural areas to the city. Where would the roads land, and how would that impact the planted fields? Where would the mountains fall, and how would the features like tunnels be incorporated where they're both functional and visually working together? From the blog post, it sounds like Hutan Pantai was far more technically challenging than the stunningly beautiful Riverbend Springs. If you're holding on to your thoughts that mod map makers might produce better than Giants, then I think their game is going to need to be stepped up a bit, because for me, both of these new maps for FS25 are in a league of their own. Other than the fact sheets today and hopefully info about when the game will release on various platforms, I hope this closes out Giants' blog post around Farming Simulator 25, as I'm itching to dive in. While I think it might be getting too late at this point to order the Collector's Edition and have it arrive on release day, it's still not too late to order one. I recently published an unboxing video as to what you can expect inside the Collector's Edition, as well as my fun experience playing the 16-bit Retro Edition. If you missed those videos, then I'll have links at the end of this video. You're definitely not going to be too late to pick up the game via the Giants eShop. You can pre-order all the way up to 11:59 p.m. on November 11th to get the MacDom Pack and Golden CR11 as bonus items. Once the clock strikes midnight though, CET, the pre-order is over and those items will cost additional money to pick up. The eShop version has also historically been the quickest way to get the game and DLCs. Lastly, if you're not a subscriber, please think a moment or two about the prospects of getting notices on the latest FS25 tips and tricks, as well as map guides and gameplay live streams. If you think that would be a good thing, then complete the transaction by clicking on the subscribe button, and while you're there, go ahead and give it a thumbs up also. Both will go a long way in helping YouTube recommend the video to others with similar viewing habits. Until later today, happy farming!